The birth of the universe and the primordial deities. Greek mythology begins at the very dawn of existence, in a time when there was nothing but a vast, dark void known as chaos. This primordial emptiness was not just a state of disorder, but the fertile ground from which all creation sprang. From chaos, the first primordial deities emerged, representing fundamental forces of nature and existence. The first to arise was Gaia, the earth, a nurturing and life-giving force who would become the mother of all living things. Alongside her came Tartarus, the deep abyss that would later serve as a prison for the vanquished Titans. Eros, the god of procreation and desire, also emerged, symbolizing the driving force of creation and union. The primordial deities Nyx, night, and Erebus, darkness, were born, embodying the mysterious and shadowy aspects of existence. From these early beings came the first cosmic events. Gaia gave birth to Uranus, the sky, who became her equal and partner, spreading across her vast expanse. Together, they brought forth the first generation of divine beings, including the Titans, the Cyclopes, and the Cenomanians, giants with 100 hands. This union marked the beginning of creation as we know it, a blending of earth and sky, matter and spirit, order and chaos. However, harmony was short-lived. Uranus, fearing the power of his offspring, cast many of them into Tartarus, deep within Gaia's body. This act of cruelty led to rebellion. Gaia, enraged by Uranus's tyranny, conspired with her youngest son, Cronus, the Titan of Time. She armed Cronus with a sickle made of adamant, and he overthrew Uranus in a dramatic act of cosmic revolution, severing his father and claiming dominion over the universe. From Uranus's blood spilled upon the earth, new beings were born, including the Erinyes, Furies, spirits of vengeance, and the giants, further enriching the tapestry of existence. The severed parts of Uranus fell into the sea, and from the resulting foam, the goddess Aphrodite later emerged, embodying love and beauty. This cycle of creation, conflict, and transformation is central to Greek mythology. It reflects the ancient Greeks' understanding of the world as a place of dynamic forces, where chaos gives birth to order, and even the most powerful forces are subject to the tides of change. The creation myth not only explains the origins of the cosmos, but also sets the stage for the dramatic tales of gods and mortals that follow. The first divine rulers of the cosmos. After the overthrow of Uranus, the rule of the universe fell to the Titans, the mighty children of Gaia and Uranus. The Titans were a generation of powerful deities, each embodying fundamental aspects of the natural world and the cosmos. Among them were Cronus, the youngest and leader, who represented time; Rhea, the mother of gods; Oceanus, the vast, encircling river; and Hyperion, the god of light. They were joined by Themis, divine law; Mnemosyne, memory; Zeus, inquiry, and many others, forming a pantheon that governed the early world. Under the Titans, the cosmos entered a new phase of stability and growth. Cronus, having overthrown his father Uranus, assumed the throne and ruled alongside his sister and wife, Rhea. Their union brought forth the next generation of gods, who would eventually come to be known as the Olympians. Yet, despite their rule, the era of the Titans was not without its turmoil and foreboding. Cronus, though powerful, was haunted by a prophecy that he would be overthrown by one of his own children, just as he had overthrown his father. Consumed by paranoia, Cronus sought to prevent this fate by swallowing each of his offspring as they were born. One by one, he devoured Hestia, Demeter, Hera, Hades, and Poseidon, imprisoning them within his own body and depriving them of their chance to rule. Rhea, devastated by the loss of her children, devised a plan to save her youngest, Zeus. When Zeus was born, Rhea tricked Cronus by wrapping a stone in swaddling clothes and presenting it as the baby. Cronus, unsuspecting, swallowed the stone, while Rhea secretly hid Zeus in a cave on the island of Crete. There, he was nurtured by the nymphs and fed by the goat Amalthea, growing in strength and wisdom. As Zeus matured, he sought to challenge his father, and reclaim his siblings. With the help of Gaia and the wisdom of Métis, Zeus tricked Cronus into drinking a potion that forced him to regurgitate his swallowed children. Now free, the young gods joined forces with Zeus, setting the stage for a monumental conflict known as the Titanomachy. The Titanomachy was a cataclysmic war between the old gods, the Titans, and the younger generation, the Olympians. Zeus and his siblings, aided by the Cyclopes, who forged Zeus's thunderbolts, and the Cenomans, whose 100 hands hurled boulders, waged a fierce battle against the Titans. Cronus and his allies, including Atlas, fought valiantly, but the Olympians ultimately triumphed. The defeat of the Titans marked the end of their reign and the beginning of a new era under the Olympians. Cronus and his followers were cast into Tartarus, the dark abyss they had once used as a prison for their own kind. Atlas, a Titan loyal to Cronus, was singled out for special punishment. He was condemned to hold up the heavens for eternity, a burden symbolizing the consequences of defying the new order. The era of the Titans, though overshadowed by their defeat, remains a pivotal chapter in Greek mythology. It represents a transitional period where raw, primordial power gave way to the emergence of a more structured and dynamic order under the Olympians. The Titans' legacy is preserved in the myths and in the very fabric of nature they once governed, serving as a reminder of the ever-changing cycles of power and creation in the mythological cosmos. The rise of the 12 rulers of Mount Olympus. After the tumultuous Titanomachy, the victorious Olympians emerged as the supreme rulers of the cosmos, marking the beginning of a new and vibrant era in Greek mythology. The Olympians, named after their celestial abode on Mount Olympus, were a group of 12 deities who presided over the heavens, the earth, and the underworld, each embodying unique aspects of life, nature, and human behavior. At the head of the Olympians was Zeus, the god of the sky and thunder, who had led his siblings to victory against the Titans. Zeus's thunderbolts, forged by the Cyclopes, symbolized his unmatched power and authority. As the king of the gods, Zeus was not only a figure of immense strength, but also a mediator and enforcer of justice, ensuring balance and order in the divine realm and among mortals. By his side stood Hera, his wife and queen, the goddess of marriage and family. Though often portrayed as jealous and vengeful, particularly toward Zeus's many lovers and illegitimate children, Hera's character reflected the complexities of divine relationships and the sanctity of marriage. Poseidon, Zeus's brother, ruled over the seas and was often depicted wielding his mighty trident. As the god of oceans, earthquakes, and storms, Poseidon was both a creator and a destroyer, capable of bestowing bountiful harvests for seafarers and unleashing devastating tempests. Hades, the eldest of the 3 brothers, governed the underworld. Though not typically considered one of the 12 Olympians since he resided in the realm of the dead, Hades was an essential figure in the divine hierarchy. He oversaw the fate of mortal souls and maintained the natural order of life and death. The Olympians also included Athena, the goddess of wisdom, strategy, and warfare. Born fully grown and armored from Zeus's forehead after he swallowed her mother, Métis, Athena represented intellect and rationality. She was a patron of heroes like Odysseus and a symbol of strategic thinking. Apollo, the god of light, prophecy, music, and healing, was another prominent Olympian. Known for his artistic talents and prophetic abilities, Apollo epitomized harmony and balance. His twin sister, Artemis, was the goddess of the hunt, wilderness, and chastity, embodying independence and a deep connection to nature. Ares, the god of war, represented the brutal and chaotic aspects of conflict, in contrast to Athena's strategic approach. Though often scorned by other gods, Ares symbolized the raw power and inevitability of war in human life. Aphrodite, born from the sea foam, was the goddess of love, beauty, and desire. Her influence was seen in both the divine and mortal realms, as she wielded the power to inspire passion and discord alike. Hephaestus, the god of fire and craftsmanship, was a master artisan who created magnificent weapons and artifacts for the gods. Despite his physical imperfections and the complicated dynamics of his marriage to Aphrodite, Hephaestus embodied resilience and creativity. Hermes, the messenger god, was known for his speed, cunning, and adaptability. As a guide for souls to the underworld and a protector of travelers, Hermes connected the divine and mortal realms. Finally, Demeter, the goddess of agriculture and fertility, was revered for her role in sustaining life through the growth of crops. Her bond with her daughter, Persephone, gave rise to the myth of the seasons, reflecting the cycles of life and renewal. Each Olympian played a vital role in maintaining the balance of the cosmos, governing distinct domains while interacting in a web of alliances, rivalries, and relationships. Their personalities, often flawed and deeply human, mirrored the complexities of life itself. Through their stories, the Olympians provided a lens for understanding human nature, morality, and the forces that shape the world. The rise of the king of the gods. Zeus's rise to power is one of the most pivotal narratives in Greek mythology, symbolizing the triumph of order over chaos and the establishment of a structured cosmos under his rule. Born as the youngest child of the Titan Cronus and his sister wife Rhea, Zeus was destined for greatness. Yet his path to ascendancy was fraught with peril and adversity. Cronus, who had overthrown his father Uranus to become the ruler of the cosmos, was plagued by a prophecy foretelling his downfall at the hands of one of his children. To prevent this fate, Cronus devoured each of his offspring as soon as they were born, trapping them within his own body. Rhea, heartbroken and desperate to save her youngest child, devised a daring plan. When Zeus was born, Rhea secretly spirited him away to the island of Crete, entrusting his care to the nymphs and the goat Amalthea. In the nurturing safety of the cave on Mount Ida, Zeus grew strong and wise. The sound of his cries was masked by the Curetes, warriors who clashed their shields and spears to prevent Cronus from hearing the baby's presence. As Zeus matured, he prepared for the monumental task of confronting his tyrannical father and liberating his siblings. With the guidance of the goddess Métis, Zeus devised a cunning strategy. He returned to his father's court in disguise and tricked Cronus into consuming a potion that caused him to regurgitate the children he had swallowed. One by one, Zeus's siblings, Hestia, Demeter, Hera, Hades, and Poseidon, were freed, and together they formed a formidable alliance to challenge Cronus and the Titans. The ensuing conflict, known as the Titanomachy, was a cosmic war that shook the very foundations of the universe. Zeus led the Olympians in battle, wielding the thunderbolts forged for him by the Cyclopes. These weapons, crackling with divine energy, became symbols of his unparalleled might. The Olympians were further aided by the Cenamenes, whose 100 arms hurled massive boulders at the Titans, and the Cyclopes, who contributed their immense strength and craftsmanship. The war raged for 10 years, with the Titans and Olympians locked in a fierce struggle. The Titans, led by Cronus and supported by powerful allies such as Atlas, fought to maintain their dominion over the cosmos. However, the Olympians, driven by their unity and Zeus's leadership, ultimately emerged victorious. The defeated Titans were cast into Tartarus, the deep abyss of the underworld, where they were imprisoned under the watchful eyes of the Cenamenes. With the Titans vanquished, Zeus assumed the throne as the supreme ruler of the gods. He divided the cosmos among himself and his brothers, Poseidon and Hades, by drawing lots. Zeus claimed the heavens and the earth, Poseidon took dominion over the seas, and Hades ruled the underworld. Though each sibling governed their respective realms, Zeus's authority extended over all, making him the undisputed king of the gods. Zeus's ascension marked the beginning of a new era, characterized by a balance of power and a structured divine hierarchy. Unlike the chaotic and often brutal reigns of Uranus and Cronus, Zeus sought to establish order and justice in both the mortal and divine realms. He presided over the laws of the cosmos, maintained harmony among the gods, and served as a mediator in disputes. His reign was not without challenges, as he faced rebellions, conflicts, and moral dilemmas. But his ability to navigate these trials solidified his role as a wise and powerful ruler. Zeus's ascendancy also set the stage for the myths that would follow, as his interactions with gods, mortals, and creatures shaped the fabric of Greek mythology. His relationships, both divine and mortal, often resulted in the birth of heroes and demigods, whose stories of bravery and tragedy enriched the mythological tradition. The birth of humanity and the struggle for progress. The myth of Prometheus and the creation of humanity is one of the most profound and enduring stories in Greek mythology, exploring themes of innovation, defiance, and the cost of progress. Prometheus, whose name means forethought, was a titan known for his intelligence and foresight. Unlike many of his titan kin, Prometheus sided with Zeus and the Olympians during the Titanomachy, helping them secure victory. However, his relationship with Zeus would later become strained, as his actions placed him at odds with the supreme ruler of the gods. In the early days of creation, the earth was a blank slate, devoid of life. It was Prometheus who took on the divine task of shaping humanity. Using clay from the earth and water from the rivers, he molded humans in the image of the gods, imbuing them with a form that mirrored the divine, yet was bound to the mortal realm. His brother, Epimetheus, whose name means afterthought, was tasked with giving attributes to all living creatures. Epimetheus distributed strength, speed, fur, and wings to the animals, but left humanity defenseless, without any natural advantages. Seeing his creations vulnerable and unequipped to survive, Prometheus took it upon himself to provide humanity with the tools they needed to thrive. His most audacious act was the theft of fire from the gods, a gift that was reserved exclusively for the divine. Fire symbolized knowledge, technology, and the transformative power of civilization. By bringing fire to humanity, Prometheus enabled them to cook food, forge tools, build shelters, and protect themselves from the elements and predators. Prometheus's gift of fire was more than just a practical tool. It was a symbol of enlightenment and progress. It marked the dawn of human innovation, allowing civilization to emerge and flourish. However, this act of defiance did not go unnoticed by Zeus. The king of the gods was enraged by Prometheus's actions, viewing them as a challenge to his authority and a disruption of the divine order. Zeus believed that humanity, being mortal, should remain subservient and dependent on the gods, and Prometheus's empowerment of humans threatened this balance. As punishment for his transgression, Zeus condemned Prometheus to an eternal torment of unimaginable cruelty. He was chained to a rock on Mount Caucasus, where every day an eagle, a symbol of Zeus's power, would descend and devour his liver. Being immortal, Prometheus's liver would regenerate each night, ensuring that his suffering was unending. Despite his agony, Prometheus remained defiant, embodying the spirit of resistance and sacrifice for the greater good. Zeus's wrath did not end with Prometheus. To punish humanity for accepting the gift of fire, Zeus orchestrated the creation of Pandora, the first woman, whose name means all-gifted. Crafted by Hephaestus and endowed with beauty and charm by the gods, Pandora was sent to humanity with a jar, often mistranslated as a box, containing all the evils of the world. Out of curiosity, Pandora opened the jar, unleashing sorrow, disease, and suffering upon humanity. However, one thing remained within the jar: hope, offering humanity the strength to endure their trials. Prometheus's myth is a profound allegory for the human condition. It highlights the transformative power of knowledge and the eternal struggle for progress, even in the face of divine or societal resistance. His defiance against Zeus symbolizes the human spirit's determination to challenge limitations and seek improvement. The suffering he endured reflects the sacrifices often required to advance civilization. Moreover, the story of Prometheus and fire captures the ambivalence of technological and intellectual advancement. While it empowers humanity, it also brings new responsibilities and potential consequences. This duality is echoed in many myths and continues to resonate in modern interpretations, reminding us of the delicate balance between progress and the ethical dilemmas it can create. The introduction of evil and hope into the world. The myth of Pandora is one of the most iconic tales in Greek mythology, offering a profound exploration of human curiosity, consequence, and resilience. It is intricately tied to the story of Prometheus and serves as a divine response to the Titan's defiance in empowering humanity. Through Pandora, the gods sought to both punish mortals and teach them a lesson about the dangers of disobedience and unchecked curiosity. Pandora, whose name means all-gifted, was crafted by Hephaestus, the divine blacksmith, at Zeus's command. She was molded from clay, a material symbolizing her earthly origins, and brought to life by divine intervention. Each Olympian deity contributed to her creation, bestowing her with unique traits. Aphrodite granted her beauty and charm, making her irresistible to mortals. Athena clothed her in fine garments and taught her the arts of domesticity, ensuring she would be an ideal companion. Hermes, ever cunning, gave her wit and eloquence, but also instilled a streak of deceit and curiosity. These gifts made Pandora a paradox, both alluring and dangerous, a divine masterpiece designed to bring joy and suffering in equal measure. Pandora was presented to Epimetheus, the brother of Prometheus, as a gift. Despite Prometheus's warnings not to accept anything from Zeus, Epimetheus was captivated by Pandora's beauty and grace. He welcomed her into the mortal world, setting the stage for the unfolding of Zeus's elaborate punishment. Along with Pandora, Zeus sent a mysterious jar, commonly referred to as a box due to later mistranslations, which Pandora was instructed not to open under any circumstances. However, the gods had crafted Pandora with a spirit of insatiable curiosity, and it was only a matter of time before she succumbed to her impulses. Unable to resist the allure of the jar and the secrets it might contain, Pandora lifted the lid. In an instant, the contents of the jar spilled out, unleashing all the evils, hardships, and suffering that had been previously unknown to the world. Disease, sorrow, despair, jealousy, and death emerged as unstoppable forces, spreading across the earth and forever altering the human condition. Pandora, horrified by what she had done, hastily tried to close the jar, but the damage had already been done. Yet, as she sealed it, one final element remained inside: hope. This small but powerful force became humanity's solace amidst the overwhelming tide of suffering. Hope represented resilience and the ability to endure life's hardships, offering mortals a glimmer of light even in the darkest of times. The myth of Pandora's box is layered with symbolism and serves as a reflection of human nature. It captures the duality of curiosity as both a driver of progress and a source of unintended consequences. Pandora's actions illustrate the dangers of defying divine instructions, but they also highlight the inevitability of human curiosity and its role in shaping existence. The inclusion of hope within the jar provides a nuanced perspective on the human condition. While the evils released by Pandora brought immeasurable suffering, hope remained as a counterbalance, suggesting that even in the face of despair, humans possess the strength to persevere. This duality is central to Greek mythology, which often portrays life as a mixture of joy and pain, order and chaos, struggle and triumph. Pandora herself is a complex figure, embodying both the divine and the mortal, the nurturer and the disruptor. Her story serves as a cautionary tale about the consequences of curiosity and disobedience, yet it also acknowledges the importance of hope as a sustaining force. Through Pandora, Greek mythology offers a profound commentary on the human experience, one that continues to resonate across cultures and generations. The interplay of gods and humans. The relationship between the Olympian gods and mortals is a central theme in Greek mythology, illustrating the intricate and often volatile interplay between divine power and human agency. Unlike many other mythological traditions, where gods remain distant and uninvolved, the Olympians frequently engage with humans, influencing their lives, shaping their fates, and occasionally intervening in their affairs with both benevolence and malice. This dynamic relationship reflects the ancient Greek worldview, where gods were seen as omnipresent but not infallible, embodying human traits, emotions, and flaws. The Olympians were both protectors and antagonists of humanity. They bestowed gifts, offered guidance, and provided aid to heroes and civilizations. For instance, Athena, the goddess of wisdom, was a steadfast patron of Athens, where she taught people the arts of war, governance, and craft. Her guidance extended to individuals like Odysseus, whose cleverness and resilience she nurtured during his perilous journey home. Similarly, Demeter, as the goddess of agriculture, ensured the survival of humanity by teaching them how to cultivate the earth and secure sustenance. Yet, the gods' interactions with mortals were far from uniformly benevolent. Their interventions were often driven by personal motives, jealousy, vengeance, or the desire for recognition. Zeus, for instance, was known for his numerous romantic entanglements with mortal women, which led to the birth of many demigods and heroes, such as Heracles and Perseus. While these unions expanded the mythological lineage, they also caused strife, particularly with Hera, Zeus's wife, who frequently unleashed her wrath on his mortal lovers and their offspring. The gods also punished mortals who defied or offended them. Hubris, or excessive pride, was a recurring theme in these tales, as mortals who overstepped their boundaries often faced divine retribution. Arachne, a mortal woman who dared to challenge Athena in a weaving contest, was transformed into a spider after her arrogance angered the goddess. Similarly, Niobe, who boasted of her superiority to Leto, the mother of Apollo and Artemis, saw her children slaughtered as punishment for her insolence. These stories served as cautionary tales, warning humans to respect the gods and acknowledge their limitations. However, the gods' involvement in human affairs was not always limited to direct interventions. They often acted as catalysts for significant events and conflicts. The Trojan War, one of the most famous stories in Greek mythology, was heavily influenced by the gods. The Judgment of Paris, which led to the war, involved three goddesses, Hera, Athena, and Aphrodite, vying for the title of the fairest. Their rivalry and the eventual intervention of Zeus and other Olympians played a pivotal role in shaping the events that followed. During the war itself, gods like Apollo, Athena, and Ares actively took sides, guiding and empowering their favored heroes while thwarting their enemies. Despite their immense power, the Olympians were not invincible, and their interactions with mortals revealed their vulnerabilities. They were bound by the decrees of fate, an overarching force that even Zeus could not defy. This limitation underscored the idea that, while gods held immense influence over the mortal realm, they were not all-powerful. This interplay of divine will and predestined outcomes created a rich narrative tension in the myths, reflecting the complexities of life and destiny. The Olympians' relationships with mortals also served to humanize them, bridging the gap between the divine and the human. Their passions, flaws, and conflicts mirrored those of the people who worshipped them, making them relatable and accessible figures. Whether as protectors, lovers, rivals, or punishing deities, the gods' presence in mortal lives highlighted the interconnectedness of the divine and the earthly, shaping a mythology that continues to captivate and resonate with audiences to this day. The legends of courage, struggle, and mortality. Heroic myths form the cornerstone of Greek mythology, recounting the extraordinary exploits of mortals who rose above their human limitations to achieve greatness. These stories celebrate bravery, resilience, and ingenuity, but they also delve into themes of vulnerability, hubris, and the inevitability of fate. The heroes of Greek mythology were not perfect. They were flawed, complex, and profoundly human, even when their deeds were godlike. Their narratives provided a lens through which ancient Greeks explored the virtues and vices of humanity, as well as the challenges of navigating a world influenced by divine forces. Perhaps one of the most renowned Greek heroes is Heracles, Hercules, the son of Zeus and the mortal woman Alcmene. Heracles' life was marked by struggle from the very beginning, as Hera, Zeus's wife, despised him and sought to destroy him. Despite her interference, Heracles grew to embody immense strength and courage. His most famous exploits are the 12 labors, a series of seemingly impossible tasks imposed upon him as penance for a terrible crime committed in a fit of madness induced by Hera. These labors, which included slaying the Nemean lion, capturing the golden hind of Artemis, and retrieving the apples of the Hesperides, tested his endurance and intellect. Heracles' tale is one of redemption and perseverance, symbolizing the human capacity to overcome adversity and achieve greatness. Another iconic hero is Perseus, whose legend begins with a prophecy foretelling that he would kill his grandfather, King Acrisius. Cast out to sea with his mother, Danae, Perseus survived and grew into a formidable warrior. His most famous feat was slaying Medusa, the Gorgon whose gaze turned men to stone. Armed with gifts from the gods, including Athena's mirrored shield and Hermes' winged sandals, Perseus demonstrated cleverness and resourcefulness in defeating the monster. He later used Medusa's severed head to rescue Princess Andromeda from a sea monster, further cementing his status as a savior and hero. Theseus, the founder hero of Athens, is celebrated for his journey into the labyrinth to slay the Minotaur, a half-man, half-bull creature that terrorized the people of Crete. Guided by Ariadne's thread, Theseus navigated the maze and killed the beast, freeing Athens from its obligation to send human tributes. Theseus' story highlights themes of sacrifice, ingenuity, and leadership, as he later united the city-states of Attica under his rule. However, his life also serves as a cautionary tale, as his hubris and personal failings led to tragic consequences, including the death of his son, Hippolytus. The story of Jason and the Argonauts showcases the power of teamwork and determination. Tasked with retrieving the Golden Fleece, a symbol of kingship and authority, Jason assembled a crew of heroes, including Heracles, Orpheus, and Atalanta. Their journey aboard the Argo was fraught with peril, including encounters with harpies, clashing rocks, and fire-breathing bulls. Jason's success relied not only on his bravery, but also on the assistance of Medea, a sorceress who fell in love with him and used her magic to help him succeed. However, their story ends in betrayal and tragedy, underscoring the fragile nature of trust and loyalty. Greek heroes often grappled with their mortality, as even the greatest among them were subject to the whims of the gods and the inevitability of death. Achilles, the central figure of Homer's Iliad, exemplifies this duality. As a demigod, Achilles possessed unparalleled strength and skill in battle, yet his mortality was a constant shadow. His story is one of rage, pride, and the pursuit of glory, culminating in his tragic death due to the vulnerability of his heel, a poignant reminder of human fragility. Heroic myths also explore the tension between personal ambition and communal responsibility. Odysseus, the cunning king of Ithaca, is celebrated for his intellect and perseverance in the Odyssey. His journey home after the Trojan War spans 10 arduous years, during which he confronts gods, monsters, and his own shortcomings. Odysseus' resourcefulness and determination ultimately reunite him with his family, but his tale also highlights the sacrifices required to fulfill one's duties to home and hearth. The heroes of Greek mythology were not only champions of their time, but also figures of profound introspection. Their triumphs and tragedies reflect the human condition, offering lessons on courage, humility, and the enduring struggle against the forces of fate. These myths provided ancient Greeks with models of virtue and cautionary examples of hubris, serving as timeless narratives that continue to inspire and resonate across cultures. A saga of love, betrayal, and destiny. The Trojan War stands as one of the most captivating and detailed epics in Greek mythology, embodying the intersection of divine intervention, human ambition, and the inescapable pull of fate. This legendary conflict, immortalized in Homer's Iliad and later works, is not merely a tale of war, but a complex narrative filled with passion, betrayal, heroism, and tragedy. The events leading up to the war itself, and its aftermath have become enduring symbols of human folly, resilience, and the interplay between mortal and divine forces. The origins of the Trojan War trace back to the infamous judgment of Paris, a fateful decision that set the stage for conflict. At a divine wedding, Eris, the goddess of discord, introduced a golden apple inscribed with the words "to the fairest," inciting a rivalry among three powerful goddesses, Hera, Athena, and Aphrodite. To resolve their dispute, they turned to Paris, a prince of Troy, to judge who was the fairest. Each goddess offered Paris a bribe. Hera promised power, Athena offered wisdom and military prowess, and Aphrodite pledged the love of the most beautiful mortal woman, Helen of Sparta. Swayed by Aphrodite's promise, Paris awarded her the apple, sealing his fate and the fate of his city. Paris's reward, Helen, was already married to Menelaus, the king of Sparta. When Paris abducted or seduced, depending on the version, Helen and brought her to Troy, it ignited a fierce response from Menelaus and his brother, Agamemnon, the king of Mycenae. Together, they rallied the Greek city-states, uniting a formidable force of heroes, including Achilles, Odysseus, and Ajax, to sail to Troy and retrieve Helen. What began as an act of vengeance quickly escalated into a decade-long siege that would test the limits of human endurance and the bonds of loyalty and love. The war itself was a theater of both human and divine drama. The gods actively participated, taking sides and influencing battles. Apollo, for instance, supported the Trojans, aiding their champions like Hector, while Athena and Hera sided with the Greeks, providing strategic guidance and divine intervention. These divine rivalries mirrored and amplified the conflicts among mortals, turning the battlefield into a stage where human and godly ambitions intertwined. Central to the narrative of the Trojan War is the character of Achilles, whose rage and heroism dominate much of the Iliad. As the Greeks' mightiest warrior, Achilles was a figure of immense strength and pride, yet he was also deeply flawed. His withdrawal from battle after a quarrel with Agamemnon over the spoils of war underscored themes of personal honor versus collective responsibility. Achilles' eventual return to the battlefield, driven by grief and vengeance over the death of his beloved companion Patroclus, marks some of the war's most dramatic and poignant moments, including his duel with Hector, Troy's greatest defender. The war was not without moments of strategic brilliance and deception. One of the most enduring episodes is the tale of the Trojan horse, a cunning ploy conceived by Odysseus. After years of stalemate, the Greeks feigned retreat, leaving behind a massive wooden horse as a supposed offering to the gods. Unbeknownst to the Trojans, the horse concealed Greek soldiers within its hollow frame. When the Trojans brought the horse into their city, celebrating what they believed was a victory, the hidden warriors emerged under cover of night, opening the gates for the Greek army to launch a devastating attack. This act of deception led to Troy's ultimate downfall, symbolizing the fine line between cleverness and betrayal. Amidst the battles and strategies, the Trojan War also explored deeply human emotions and relationships. Hector, Troy's noble prince, embodied honor and familial devotion, fighting not only for his city but for his wife, Andromache, and their infant son. His tragic death at the hands of Achilles and the subsequent desecration of his body underscored the brutal realities of war and the fragility of human dignity. Similarly, the love story of Paris and Helen, though controversial, highlighted themes of passion and the consequences of forbidden love. The Trojan War's aftermath carried the weight of sorrow and destruction. The city of Troy was reduced to ruins, its people enslaved or killed. The Greek victors themselves faced dire consequences, as many heroes met tragic ends or endured arduous journeys home, as recounted in the Odyssey. Even Helen, the war's catalyst, returned to Sparta with Menelaus, her beauty and allure forever intertwined with the devastation wrought by the conflict. Through its intricate tapestry of characters, events, and themes, the Trojan War serves as a timeless narrative exploring the complexities of human nature. It delves into the consequences of choices, the the interplay of love and power, and the devastating cost of ambition and pride. The saga remains a cornerstone of Greek mythology, offering profound insights into the human experience and the enduring legacy of both heroism and tragedy. Journeying beyond death. In Greek mythology, the concept of the underworld is a rich and multifaceted realm that represents not only the afterlife, but also a place of judgment, punishment, and eternal rest. The journey to the underworld was often fraught with peril, as mortals, heroes, and even gods ventured into this dark, mysterious domain to seek knowledge, redemption, or to confront the consequences of their actions. The Greek conception of the afterlife differed significantly from the Christian view, blending both punishment and rewards in a nuanced, often unsettling way. The ruler of the underworld was Hades, the brother of Zeus and Poseidon. Hades was generally depicted as a stern, detached god, overseeing the souls of the dead in a realm devoid of joy. While not evil or malevolent, he was indifferent to the concerns of the living, focusing solely on maintaining order in his domain. His wife, Persephone, played a central role in the mythology surrounding the underworld, as her abduction by Hades brought about the annual cycle of seasons. The souls of the dead were judged by Minos, Rhadamanthys, and Aeacus, three judges who determined whether a soul would be sent to Elysium, a paradisiacal region, the fields of Asphodel, where most souls resided, or Tartarus, a place of torment for the wicked. This system of judgment reflected the ancient Greek values of moderation, piety, and respect for the gods. One of the most famous myths involving the underworld is that of Orpheus and Eurydice. Orpheus, the poet and musician, descended into the underworld to bring his beloved wife, Eurydice, back to the world of the living after her untimely death. Armed with his enchanting music, he charmed Hades and Persephone, who agreed to allow Eurydice to follow him back to the land of the living, on the condition that Orpheus did not look back at her until they both had fully crossed over. However, unable to resist, Orpheus glanced back just as they were exiting the underworld, causing Eurydice to disappear into the shadows forever. This story explores themes of loss, grief, and the limits of love, as well as the vulnerability of mortals when facing the divine. Another key figure associated with the underworld is Hermes, the guide who escorted souls to their final resting places. As the psychopomp, or guide of the dead, Hermes was essential for ensuring a smooth transition between life and death. He helped those who had lived righteous lives, as well as those who sought knowledge or redemption. The myth of Persephone provides insight into the cyclical nature of life and death. As the daughter of Demeter, Persephone was abducted by Hades and taken to the underworld, where she became his queen. Her mother's grief caused the earth to wither, leading to the establishment of the Eleusinian mysteries, secret rites that promised hope for a better afterlife and renewal of life in spring. Persephone's eventual return to the surface, albeit for a portion of the year, symbolizes the balance between death and rebirth, reflecting the seasons and the eternal cycle of life and death. The underworld was also home to Tartarus, the deepest and most terrible part of the realm, reserved for the most wicked souls. In Tartarus, figures like Sisyphus, Tantalus, and the Titans were eternally punished for their crimes against the gods or for defying divine authority. Sisyphus was condemned to roll a boulder uphill for eternity, only for it to roll back down each time it neared the summit, symbolizing the futility of human endeavors. Tantalus, perpetually tormented by hunger and thirst, stood in a pool of water beneath a fruit tree, only to have the water and fruit recede every time he tried to satisfy his desires. These stories served as cautionary tales about hubris, deceit, and disrespect for the divine order. Despite the grim reputation of the underworld, there were regions like Elysium, where the souls of heroes, poets, and those who lived virtuous lives were rewarded with peace and joy. Elysium was seen as a paradise, a realm of eternal celebration where mortals lived in harmony with the gods and nature. This contrast between suffering and reward highlights the duality present in Greek mythology, where suffering is often necessary for growth, and virtue is ultimately rewarded, but only through immense trial and sacrifice. Greek myths surrounding the underworld emphasize the inevitability of death and the complex relationship between mortals and the divine. The journey to the underworld was both a test and a transformative experience, where souls could find either redemption or eternal torment. These myths offer profound insights into ancient Greek beliefs about life, death, and the afterlife, shaping the way humans understood their existence and the universe's mysteries. Forces of chaos and power. Greek mythology is replete with a diverse array of creatures and monsters, each representing different aspects of the natural world, human fears, and cosmic forces. These beings often embody chaos, primal instincts, and the unknown, serving as obstacles that heroes must face and overcome. From the serpentine hydra to the harrowing sirens, these creatures add depth to the mythological landscape, shaping the epic tales of heroes, gods, and mortals alike. One of the most infamous creatures in Greek mythology is the Hydra, a many-headed serpent-like monster from the swamps of Lerna. With each head severed, two would grow back in its place, making it nearly impossible to defeat by conventional means. This creature was famously slain by Heracles during his 12 labors, requiring him to devise clever strategies, like cauterizing the necks to prevent regeneration. The Hydra represents the persistent forces of evil or chaos, which, once conquered, continue to rise in new forms, embodying the eternal struggle between good and evil. Another fearsome creature is the Minotaur, a half-man, half-bull beast confined within the labyrinth of Crete. The Minotaur symbolizes both the primal and the grotesque, an amalgamation of human reason and raw animal instinct. The hero Theseus faced this creature in a life-or-death battle, his victory over the Minotaur representing the triumph of civilization over savagery and irrationality. The siren is a mythical creature whose enchanting song lured sailors to their doom. Half bird, half woman, the sirens represent danger in the form of temptation and allure. Their haunting melodies seduced unsuspecting sailors into crashing their ships onto treacherous rocks. Odysseus famously encountered the sirens during his journey home from Troy, using beeswax to plug his crew's ears while having himself tied to the mast to resist their call, a testament to the danger of succumbing to irresistible temptation. The Chimera is another iconic monster, depicted as a fire-breathing creature with the body of a lion, the head of a goat protruding from its back, and a serpent's tail. This hybrid creature embodies chaos and destruction, a beast created by the union of various mythological creatures. It is often seen as a symbol of uncontrollable forces and the fusion of disparate elements, representing both a literal and figurative nightmare. Cerberus, the three-headed hound that guards the entrance to the underworld, is one of the most enduring symbols of death and the afterlife. Cerberus is tasked with preventing the souls from leaving the underworld and entering the realm of the living. His menacing presence illustrates the boundary between life and the afterlife, maintaining the cosmic order between the living and the dead. Another fearsome creature is the Gorgon, with Medusa being the most famous among them. Gorgons were hideous, snake-haired women whose gaze could turn onlookers to stone. Medusa's tail serves as a warning about vanity and the dangers of looking directly at the unknown or the divine, especially when blinded by hubris or arrogance. Perseus' eventual triumph over Medusa underscores the necessity of cunning and cleverness in the face of overwhelming terror. The Scylla and Charybdis represent two opposing dangers encountered by Odysseus during his journey home. Scylla, a six-headed sea monster, devours sailors passing through her waters, while Charybdis is a dangerous whirlpool that threatens to engulf entire ships. Together, they symbolize the perils of navigating the unknown, where choices must be made between unavoidable destruction and less disastrous alternatives. The Sphinx, another enigmatic creature, combines human intelligence with animalistic power. It posed a riddle to all who encountered it, promising to spare those who answered correctly and devouring those who failed. The Sphinx embodies the mystery of life, knowledge, and the dangers of ignorance and unsolvable dilemmas. Oedipus famously solved the Sphinx's riddle, highlighting the triumph of intellect over irrational fears. Monsters like the Typhon and the Hubris, offspring of Gaia, Earth, and Uranus, sky, represent primordial chaos and the struggles between gods and ancient, uncontrollable forces. Typhon, in particular, embodies the fearsome aspects of nature, possessing dragon-like wings and countless heads, each more terrifying than the last. His myth showcases the balance of power between the gods and the forces of nature that even the mightiest of deities could not fully tame. Greek mythology's creatures and monsters are essential to the narratives they inhabit, embodying the struggles between civilization and chaos, intellect and instinct, life and death. They challenge heroes and mortals alike to confront the unknown and the terrifying, often serving as allegories for deeper existential dilemmas. Through these creatures, myths explore the boundaries of human courage, the fears of the unfamiliar, and the enduring quest for understanding and mastery over the mysteries of existence. Greek mythology has had a profound and lasting impact on art, literature, and culture throughout history. From ancient times to the modern era, the stories, characters, and themes of Greek mythology have inspired countless works of creativity, shaping the cultural and intellectual foundations of Western civilization. Its influence is evident in countless forms, from classical sculpture and theater to poetry, philosophy, and modern pop culture. One of the most enduring aspects of Greek mythology is its role in visual art. Ancient Greek art, including sculptures, pottery, and frescoes, often depicted mythological scenes and figures. Statues of gods, heroes, and monsters were not only expressions of artistic skill, but also a means of communicating the values and beliefs of the ancient Greek world. For instance, the depiction of gods like Zeus, Athena, and Apollo reflected ideals of power, wisdom, and beauty. Mythological narratives were visualized on vases and ceramics that showcased epic battles, the labors of heroes, and interactions between mortals and gods. In the realm of literature, Greek myths have been a significant source of inspiration for countless poets, playwrights, and writers. Greek tragedy, with playwrights like Aeschylus, Sophocles, and Euripides, often drew heavily from mythological themes to explore complex human emotions, fate, and the consequences of divine interference. Sophocles' Oedipus Rex, which delves into the tragic downfall of the mythological king Oedipus, highlights the tension between destiny and free will, a central theme in many Greek myths. Similarly, Homer's epics, the Iliad and the Odyssey, have been foundational works in Western literature, presenting stories of heroism, war, and the struggles of the human condition. Greek mythology's influence extends beyond literature into philosophy and intellectual thought. The works of philosophers such as Plato and Aristotle were deeply influenced by mythological ideas. Plato's allegory of the cave, for example, borrows from themes of perception and reality, while Aristotle used mythological elements to examine tragedy and catharsis in his literary studies. The myth's rich symbolism and moral lessons provided a framework for philosophical exploration, often grappling with complex concepts like the nature of good and evil, justice, and the divine order. Furthermore, Greek myths have left an indelible mark on modern popular culture. Films, television shows, and novels frequently draw on mythological elements to enhance storytelling, creating worlds filled with gods, heroes, and mythical creatures. For instance, the Marvel Cinematic Universe incorporates mythological figures such as Thor, Loki, and Hercules, blending ancient mythology with modern superhero narratives. In literature, authors like Rick Riordan have embraced Greek mythology as the backbone for contemporary fantasy novels, captivating younger audiences with tales of gods, demigods, and mythical adventures. Architecture and urban planning have also been deeply influenced by Greek mythology. Temples, theaters, and public spaces in ancient Greece were built to honor the gods and showcase mythological narratives. The Parthenon, for example, was a temple dedicated to Athena, with sculptures depicting various mythological stories such as the battle between Athena and Poseidon for the city of Athens. The inclusion of mythological themes in architecture reflects the deep connection between culture and the divine. Mythological symbolism has even permeated modern psychology. The stories of Greek gods and heroes have been analyzed in the context of human behavior, archetypes, and the exploration of the psyche. The notion of the hero's journey, popularized by scholars like Joseph Campbell, is closely aligned with the epic quests and trials faced by mythological figures, offering insights into personal development and transformation. Greek mythology has had a profound influence on music and dance as well. Throughout history, mythological stories have inspired operas, ballets, and orchestral compositions. Works like Monteverdi's Orfeo or Stravinsky's Oedipus Rex reflect the enduring relevance of myth in expressing deep, emotional, and universal themes through artistic performance. Even in political thought, Greek mythology provided metaphors and symbols that shaped ideologies. Leaders throughout history have invoked mythological figures to convey power, destiny, and governance. For instance, the image of Prometheus, the titan who defied the gods to bring fire to humanity, was used to symbolize the struggle for innovation and human progress against oppressive forces. In sum, Greek mythology's influence on art, literature, philosophy, psychology, and modern culture is vast and multifaceted. Its themes of heroism, justice, love, betrayal, and the divine continue to resonate across time, demonstrating the timeless nature of these ancient stories. From the grand marble statues of gods to modern blockbusters, Greek mythology remains a vital and integral part of the human creative and intellectual landscape. Enduring influence across time, Greek mythology's legacy has been enduring, shaping countless aspects of Western culture, literature, art, philosophy, and even modern psychology. From ancient Greece to the present day, these myths continue to be a source of inspiration and reflection on the human experience, influencing nearly every facet of creative and intellectual life. The themes, stories, and characters have evolved with society, yet their core messages about fate, the divine, morality, and human resilience remain universally relevant. One of the most significant aspects of Greek mythology's legacy is its profound impact on Western literature. Works by authors such as Homer, Hesiod, Sophocles, and Aeschylus, who drew heavily from mythological themes, set the foundation for literary traditions that continue to this day. From Shakespearean plays to modern novels, Greek myths provide archetypal stories of heroism, tragedy, and the exploration of human nature. The story of Oedipus, for example, has been reinterpreted in various forms to explore issues of identity, destiny, and psychological complexity, while Hercules' 12 labors have served as a template for quests and self-discovery in countless fantasy and adventure narratives. In art, Greek mythology has been a dominant influence for centuries. From the earliest sculptures and vases depicting gods and mythological scenes to Renaissance masterpieces and modern interpretations, artists have continually drawn inspiration from these ancient stories. Michelangelo's The Creation of Adam, for instance, borrows from the mythological portrayal of divine power and the human-divine connection, while Baroque painters like Peter Paul Rubens often depicted mythological figures with vivid emotion and drama. Even today, artists continue to explore Greek mythological themes, offering new perspectives on these timeless stories. Philosophy has also been deeply influenced by Greek mythology, particularly in the works of Plato and Aristotle. Mythological allegories, such as Plato's allegory of the cave, use myth to explore abstract concepts of reality, knowledge, and the limitations of human perception. Aristotle's exploration of tragedy and catharsis is rooted in the mythological tragedies of Sophocles and Euripides, further demonstrating the intertwined relationship between mythology and philosophical inquiry. Through these works, Greek myths have contributed to our understanding of human emotion, moral dilemmas, and the balance between destiny and free will. The influence of Greek mythology extends into political thought and symbolism. Leaders throughout history have invoked mythological figures to convey messages about governance, power, and social order. From Napoleon's association with Apollo to the use of Prometheus as a symbol of resistance and defiance against tyranny, Greek myths have been utilized to frame political ideologies and rally movements for change. For example, the story of Theseus and the Minotaur has been invoked in discussions about breaking free from oppressive systems and pursuing justice and freedom. Modern psychology has also drawn insights from Greek mythology, particularly through concepts introduced by Carl Jung, who explored archetypes, collective images, and symbols rooted in human history. Many of these archetypes have their origins in mythological figures, such as the hero, the mentor, the shadow, and the trickster. By examining the traits and narratives associated with mythological characters, Jungian psychology offers a way to understand the deeper, often unconscious, aspects of the human psyche. These mythological stories provide metaphors for the complexities of the human mind, helping to address universal struggles with identity, relationships, and self-discovery. Greek mythology has also influenced the evolution of religious and spiritual traditions. Though the ancient gods and goddesses have largely been replaced by monotheistic beliefs, their stories have had lasting impacts on the development of rituals, symbolism, and moral teachings within Western religious traditions. Christian theology, for instance, borrowed many allegories and moral lessons from Greek myths, adapting them to fit new theological frameworks. The idea of divine punishment, redemption, and the afterlife, as explored in myths like those of Sisyphus, Tantalus, and the Titans, finds echoes in Christian eschatology and the concept of eternal judgment. Greek mythology has also profoundly influenced popular culture, where ancient myths are reimagined in movies, television, video games, and other media. Films like Clash of the Titans or Percy Jackson and the Olympians bring ancient stories to life for new generations, often incorporating modern twists that resonate with contemporary audiences. Television shows such as American Gods explore the blending of ancient mythology with modern society, offering a critique of the role of gods and myth in shaping the human experience. Through these adaptations, Greek myths continue to reach and inspire a global audience. Moreover, the enduring nature of Greek mythology lies in its ability to reflect and adapt to changing times. As society evolves, new interpretations and retellings of these myths emerge, demonstrating the timeless relevance of their themes. Whether through feminist reinterpretations of ancient goddesses, modern depictions of ancient heroes as flawed individuals, or psychological analyses of mythological archetypes, Greek mythology provides a flexible and enduring foundation for exploring the complexities of human existence. In sum, Greek mythology's legacy is vast, deeply woven into the fabric of Western culture. Its influence on art, literature, philosophy, politics, psychology, and spirituality continues to shape how we understand our world and ourselves. From ancient epic poetry to contemporary pop culture, the myths of ancient Greece continue to inspire, challenge, and enrich human thought, cementing their place as an essential part of our collective cultural heritage. A multifaceted world of themes and symbolism. Greek mythology is not a single, straightforward narrative. Rather, it is a vast, multifaceted web of interconnected stories, characters, and symbolic themes. At its core, mythology reflects the complexities of human existence, offering a rich tapestry of moral lessons, psychological archetypes, and explanations for natural phenomena. Throughout history, scholars, artists, and thinkers have explored the layers of meaning embedded within these myths, revealing how they address deep existential questions and universal themes. One of the most significant aspects of Greek mythology is its exploration of fate versus free will. Many myths revolve around the tension between predestined outcomes and personal agency. Characters like Oedipus or Achilles are often caught in tragic circumstances where their actions are influenced by forces beyond their control, whether it be divine prophecy, the whims of the gods, or the intricacies of destiny. Yet, these myths also emphasize the role of human choices, the limitations of divine intervention, and the ways in which individuals can still influence their fate despite the overarching forces at play. This duality reflects the struggle for autonomy and self-determination in a world that often appears governed by larger, often uncontrollable, forces. Another central theme in Greek mythology is hubris, or excessive pride and arrogance. Many myths focus on characters whose hubris leads to their downfall, demonstrating the dangers of overreaching and defying the gods. From Arachne's hubris in weaving to Niobe's pride in surpassing the gods' authority, these stories caution against the pursuit of personal glory at the expense of humility and reverence for the divine. The tragic downfall of characters such as Phaedon, who attempted to drive the chariot of the sun god, further highlights the dangers of unchecked ambition and hubristic behavior. Greek mythology also delves into the complexities of justice and morality, often presenting moral dilemmas that challenge modern ethical thinking. The myths explore the balance between punishment and forgiveness, order versus chaos, and the boundaries between divine authority and human conduct. Characters like Prometheus, who defies the gods to bring fire and knowledge to humanity, illustrate the tension between personal sacrifice for the greater good and the repercussions of disobeying the divine order. Similarly, myths like those of Tantalus and Sisyphus explore the eternal struggle of seeking redemption or escaping divine retribution. Another key facet of Greek mythology is the exploration of power dynamics between gods and mortals, among gods themselves, and within human relationships. The Olympian gods often embody specific forms of power, whether it be Zeus' dominion over the sky, Hera's rule over marriage, or Poseidon's control over the sea, and these dynamics influence interactions with mortals. These myths reflect the precarious nature of human existence in a world governed by powerful, sometimes capricious deities. Additionally, stories such as those of Heracles and Jason highlight the heroic struggle to attain and wield power, often marked by personal sacrifice and moral ambiguity. Greek mythology also addresses the theme of identity and transformation. Many myths revolve around characters who undergo significant personal transformations, whether through physical metamorphosis, divine intervention, or the search for self-actualization. The myth of Echo and Narcissus explores the concept of self-absorption and the dangers of fixation on one's own reflection, while Perseus' journey mirrors the transformation from a mortal hero to a figure of mythic significance. The tales of characters such as Dionysus, who embraces both chaos and transformation, further reflect the fluidity of identity and the importance of accepting change and ambiguity. Another deeply symbolic element of Greek mythology is its exploration of the underworld and the afterlife. The myths surrounding Hades, the land of the dead, reflect ancient beliefs about the mysteries of life after death. Stories of heroes who venture into the underworld, like Orpheus or Theseus, reveal humanity's fear and curiosity about death, as well as the longing for reunification with loved ones or understanding the secrets of the afterlife. These myths grapple with concepts of mortality, punishment, and the duality of life and death, providing insight into how ancient societies sought to understand the mysteries of existence beyond the physical realm. The theme of heroism and the hero's journey is central to Greek mythology, where heroes embark on epic quests to prove their worth, achieve glory, or fulfill divine mandates. These journeys are often fraught with trials, obstacles, and personal sacrifices. From Theseus' confrontation with the Minotaur to Odysseus' long journey home, these heroes demonstrate the qualities of courage, endurance, intelligence, and moral fortitude. Their stories emphasize the importance of personal growth and self-discovery, illustrating that heroism is not just about physical strength, but about moral strength, wisdom, and the ability to face adversity. Greek mythology also delves into themes of love and relationships, often presenting love as a powerful, sometimes destructive force. Myths such as those of Aphrodite, Eros, and Pandora explore the complexities of romantic desire, passion, betrayal, and obsession. From tragic love stories like that of Pyramus and Thisbe to forbidden love between gods and mortals, such as the romance between Zeus and Io, these myths illustrate the profound impact that love has on human destiny. They often reveal the dangers of passion without consequence or the tragic consequences of unrequited love, illustrating how love, when uncontrollable, can lead to both ecstasy and ruin. In addition to these themes, Greek mythology also offers profound insights into leadership and governance, with myths reflecting the responsibilities and challenges of ruling others. Stories like those of King Midas, who gains wealth but loses everything, highlight the pitfalls of greed and the limitations of power. Meanwhile, myths involving figures such as Solon or Lycurgus explore ideas of social order and the creation of just systems, suggesting that good governance is often rooted in wisdom, moderation, and respect for both divine and societal laws. Lastly, Greek mythology serves as a lens through which ancient Greeks understood the forces of nature and the cosmos. Through myths like those surrounding Gaia, Uranus, and chaos, the Greeks attempted to make sense of the origins of the universe, the forces of nature, and the underlying order of the world. These stories are deeply intertwined with ritual practices and religious observances, offering explanations for natural events like earthquakes, storms, and the changing seasons, while fostering a connection between humanity and the divine forces that govern the natural world. In sum, the complexity of Greek mythology reflects the multifaceted nature of human experience. Its rich symbolism and intricate narratives address a wide range of themes, including destiny, morality, power, transformation, and the unknown, shaping our understanding of life, the divine, and the human condition. Through the ages, these stories have continued to evolve and resonate, serving as a timeless guide to understanding the mysteries of existence.